Hey, everybody. This is Michelle.
And this is Julie, and we are excited to be here with you guys today.
In the beautiful Emerald City.
Yeah, you guys are all hearing about the Emerald City, and if you live over in New Jersey, you have no idea what we're talking about. Trust me, you're going to want to visit.
You know, Seattle is so beautiful.
I know.
When I even hate saying when the weather is good, because we do get good, you know.
Just makes you forget.
Yeah.
It just makes you forget. I was talking with someone today who lives in Arizona, and it's like 10 days straight so far of over 110 degree weather. It's like 118 or something today.
Wow.
You can't even go outside in that kind of weather. So anyway, we're super grateful. We don't need to be talking about the weather all the time.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay, but Michelle has something funny to tell you guys.
Oh my gosh. Are you going to make me tell that story?
Yes. Oh my God. I laughed so hard. You have to tell it when you were coming home from work.
I was coming home from work today.
It's okay. We're prefacing this topic by this story. True. Okay.
Yeah, I guess. So I'm driving home from work today, and in traffic, it's a 2-lane highway, 4 lanes with each direction, and the traffic really backs up. So I'm in a long line of traffic. Car is next to me. We're at a stoplight. I can tell. You know how you can tell when somebody's looking at you? I could sense that he was looking at me. And then I noticed as I kind of glanced that he was rolling his window down. So I was like, okay, Mama's not going to be looking that direction. Cause I just, you know, he was kind of.
She's going to listen to her tunes and just ignore.
I mean, he
just felt creepy to you.
He just felt creepy. Not saying he was.
He probably was.
But he probably was.
Yeah.
Because. Yeah. So, you know, it's like he's ahead in his lane and then I'm behind, and because traffic's right. So we end up kind of next to each other again. And I can tell still his window's down and he's looking my way. So I glance over and he's eating a banana and decides to be really graphic with his banana and his mouth. And I immediately turned away, and yeah, you
pretend like you didn't notice, and then you turned over and he was still looking at you.
I was like not even having it. No. So that was the end of that.
And it wasn't a chocolate covered banana. It was just a regular banana, right?
It was just a regular banana.
Well, so what a nice segue. I love that story. That's hilarious.
I mean, you know, stranger things have happened, I suppose.
I know. Well, you're a cute blonde girl in the car in traffic. So what can you say, right?
I didn't say anything. I could have, I suppose, if I wanted to, you know, make something happen. But yeah, no, I did not say a thing.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
And I avoided.
You avoided.
I avoided the rest of the way.
Well, it kind of talks. Was this guy, do you think he was in his 50s?
He was absolutely probably late 50s.
Okay.
Early 60s even.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of a good segue into the topic that we're going to speak about today.
How sexy are your 50s?
Damn straight, girl. How sexy are your 50s?
I mean, I almost said the 60s. The 50s for me have been the best.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Than any other decade.
Sexual pleasure she's having.
As far as, you know, feeling sexy, feeling confident, having good sex, being comfortable with your sexuality, all of those things.
It's called the decade of giving no fucks.
There's that too.
That's what it's about. But you know, let's just put some clarification out there, because a lot of people don't think that people that are in their 50s or 60s or maybe even in their 70s even have sex. And I think there's a period of time, you know, when you're kind of going through your 30s, 40s, whatever, where especially with women, you go into the whole menopause stage and, you know, sex is like the last thing. You don't want to get anywhere near somebody. At least that's how I was. I was just like, it just did not even sound appealing to me at all for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But it's actually something where you'll find it's more prevalent in our 50s and 60s because of exactly what we mentioned before. People are just kind of like, I don't give a shit. They just do. They just are not going to worry about stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of that might also relate to, and you can speak to this obviously more than I can, but the emotional connection and that kind of level of intimacy, like we talked about in one of our episodes early on, is stronger or is something that is more important than just, you know, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Yes, for sure.
So anyway, so we wanted to talk with all of you guys about this and give you a few, almost said tips and tricks.
We're not going to be giving tips, tricks, and trends.
No, we aren't. But we're going to give you some good info. So you can kind of go home and think it through and see if this is something that resonates with you, and hopefully be able to kind of add some boom, boom back into your sex life.
Did you know that people in their 20s are having less sex now than ever before?
That's kind of weird.
Right? That's what studies show.
Wow. More so would you say what about people in like their 50s and 60s?
So really what they were bringing that point out is for the reason that people our age, 50s and 60s, we're having just as much, if not more, sex than a millennial.
Is this like considered sex with yourself, or is this like all sex?
I think it's just
like all sex, probably.
Having sex.
Okay.
Was the term in the study.
Okay.
So
I guess you can liken it to just about
sex.
You could liken it probably to just about anything. Well, I was doing a little research and found that at this stage of the game, what's kind of interesting, 91% of men and 86% of women in their 50s report actually that they are sexually active. Maybe not like every single day.
Right.
There's different levels and stuff of activity, and I don't know what is normal. I don't know what's normal.
I don't really think there's a normal. What is normal at our age?
Honestly, it's like I would not want to be with somebody that wanted to have sex every single frickin' day.
Really?
No, I don't think I would.
That's why I think the circumstances would depend on whatever that is supposed to look like.
I don't know.
I think circumstances just.
I guess it
are part
depends.
of
It's
that.
like, are we talking like quickies, or are we talking, like sex that was like an hour long? Or I mean, that's the whole thing.
I
It's
think
like
let's keep in mind the term having sex.
Okay.
So that could just be on any front.
Okay.
And I don't mean position. I just meant that as a term. Like that could mean anything. So just having sex.
Okay.
Any kind.
Okay. Well, then that would maybe be okay. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like stop following me around. Leave me alone. I just want to cuddle. There's times that are like that for sure.
Yeah.
It's like, put that away. Whatever.
Oh boy.
I saw this joke. It was a meme that was, I don't know, probably on Instagram or something. And this guy brings his wife some aspirin and a glass of water. And he brings it into the bedroom, and his wife goes, "What's that?" And he goes, "This is the aspirin for your headache." And she says, "I don't have a headache." And he goes, "Gotcha."
Tricky.
I know some guys that might use that trick.
Do you now?
I do. I know like my brother-in-law would damn well use that trick.
But not with you.
No, silly. Not with me. Duh, with my sister.
I know. I just had to say that.
That's like having sex with my brother. Yuck.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, never mind.
So, I mean, as far as the normal part, I think what is more important than the amount of sex is that if you're happy with your partner and your sex life.
Right.
So that could, I mean, maybe it is 2 times a week, but if you're intimate, you have those moments and there's all those other things,
right.
and you two within your relationship are happy with that and with what goes on in that part of your life, then that's okay.
Well, it's kind of what leads up to it too. And we'll talk a little bit about foreplay later, but it's like you could have foreplay like all week long and, kind of act upon it here and there or whatever, but just kind of keep that attention span going in that direction just all week long, with funny little stupid things or whatever. So it's there. But I think what it really boils down to is you're right. It's got to be what both people are comfortable with. And to me, it seems like sex is fun. It's obviously a fun thing.
And did you know it boosts your immune system?
Yeah.
It's good for you.
I know. Yeah. It's good for you.
Improves self-esteem.
Yeah.
Does that.
What else does it do?
Decreases depression and anxiety.
Okay.
Relieves pain. Encourages sleep. Reduces stress. and increases heart health. My goodness, why would you not be having sex?
And you burn more calories than if you're watching TV.
They need to have a commercial on, you know how they have those commercials, promoting different meds, and then they have all the disclaimers about, all the negative impacts this could have, even death. They need to have a commercial about sex.
Well, they don't really have. Have you seen commercials for women's like hormone products? I haven't really seen that. I've seen commercials for men's products that have all those disclaimers on them.
Yeah.
But to your point, that kind of makes sense that they would maybe include some of the positive aspects of things too.
Right. I don't think there are any with those. But yeah, so you could have a commercial promoting sexual activity in the positive fashion, and then they can do all the, I guess it's not really a disclaimer, but all the upside things, improve self-esteem, decreases depression and anxiety, relieves pain, encourages sleep, reduces stress, and increases heart health.
But it could cause you to die.
If you're having...
Or you could have an erection for over 4 hours. If you do, go to the hospital. It has all those things too. But actually, that's a really good point, because there's so much to it. But there's such an emotional connection, really. I think when you get to be our age, it's not just about going out and banging it out. It's about the intimacy and the connection, at least for me, and I know for you, that you have with that person. It's not just about just sex, because once someone gets to know you and gets to know your body and gets to know what you like and gets to know what you don't like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah. Come on now.
Come on now.
I do have a statistic here for guys. So listen up, guys. Men who had sex at least twice a week were 50% less likely to die of heart disease than their less active peers were.
Interesting. I wonder if it impacts things
50%.
like blood pressure and stuff. I know blood pressure can impact like blood flow, which can impact, erections and things like that.
And you burn more calories.
Yeah.
When you're making love than if you're just like,
I was just talking about an erection, and now you're talking about something else.
Burning calories.
All right. Well, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about some things that, we can share that are probably kind of obvious, but let's just put it out there, because nobody really talks about this stuff, and we just like to be controversial. So let's do it.
First of all, back to the younger days.
Yeah.
And because I like this comparison that when you're making love, those expressions are passion, lust, or love. When you're younger.
Yeah.
Right. And as we become older, it's more personal and intimate.
Yep.
And sometimes even spiritual.
Yeah.
So the physicality of sex.
Yeah.
So I liked those three: passion, lust, and love when you're 20, makes sense, but personal, intimate, and spiritual when you're old. I
think the passion, love, and lust definitely plays a role, but it's not necessarily, maybe it's the getting started role, but it's not the staying power.
Right.
You don't have staying power with that.
Right.
I mean, obviously there's no staying power with just having lust, but when you're talking about like that, a connection, like you mentioned, I think, well, so that means that men who have more sex will live longer.
Pretty much.
Okay. So we know the guys out there that are in their 80s have probably done really well.
Anna Nicole Smith's husband, right? He had a long life. He was quite elderly. But I don't think they were having sex.
Yeah. You see me looking at you going, we had that conversation the other day, and I'm like,
it just came to the forefront of my mind.
She had sex with him, but I don't know. Maybe she did.
I watched that documentary. It didn't seem like there was not sex happening there. Okay. So anyway, I take it back.
Maybe he had much in his earlier years or something.
But yeah, more sex, guys. 50% chance longer.
Now you just have to get the girl to go for it.
Yeah. Do you think that more often that's the case? Where guys are ready to go? And I mean, I know in my mind, I know that that's what typically the conversation is among women, how guys always want to have sex. But I mean, do you think that's how it is? Do you think it's them always wanting, to your point, that meme, and she's not going to have headache? Are we always the ones turning it down?
No,
women?
No, I think women instigate. They they definitely are coming forward like, hey, I do think that men probably are more inclined than women. And women have, I mean, and I'm speaking very generally, obviously, because some women are just like, they're cool with whatever.
Right.
And that's fine. But it's like, I don't know. I think it's important to have an emotional connection with somebody. And that's harder for women to develop. So men, I mean, over time know how to
women or men?
Women. Well, both, but women having an emotional connection to someone to be able to trust them and let their guard down.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But then again, you can also just throw caution to the wind and have fun. So there's ways to look at both. Just make sure you use protection. Okay. I'm just saying that. Someone told me that they have condoms in retirement homes, bowls of condoms.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. Well, I mean, it was on the heels of learning that there was a retirement home. This person was the one that ran a lot of the tests that I was talking to, and it was like COVID tests. So we were talking about COVID tests and stuff, and then we were talking about these STD tests, and he did the test for some place in Florida, and he goes, "Oh my God, you have no idea how many STDs are rolling around these retirement homes."
Yeah.
Because they weren't using condoms.
Right.
So now there's a lot of the condoms out. I had no idea. So,
I mean, it's not something I really thought about, but I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about what you're saying and it makes sense. It's just like the young people, how when you get older, you kind of digress mentally. So you got to think about these things.
Right.
Yeah.
So making sure you're putting the condoms out there on the counter kind of a thing. Yeah. Kind of like they do in schools these days.
Under the pillow.
So I think let's talk about ways to kind of ensure that your sex life is where it needs to be if you're in that position, or if you're looking to enhance your sex life. There are, and again, this could be for anybody, but we're talking about men and women in their 50s and 60s, people that are kind of our age.
Yeah. And
there's such a variety of experiences probably out there with people. Some just aren't having any sex at all, and others are having a lot. So there's kind of going to be some balance probably in between. Again, going back into the topic of us being in our 50s and 60s, we talked already a little bit about connectivity, but connecting emotionally. Yeah. And I think that if there is a lack of connection, that is kind of something that perhaps turns people off.
Yeah.
And
women.
And so you talk about people that have been, say, married for a really long time. We talk about people in their 50s and 60s, and if their lack of connection relates to just not really communicating well with their partner, or having schedules that are different, or just really not having really deep conversations or whatever, that is what creates that lack of connection. And lack of connection is going to create probably less and less opportunity to, be intimate with that person. So connecting emotionally and making that effort to connect emotionally is pretty critical in kind of creating a healthy and happy sex life.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, and I think this applies more probably to long-term relationships, because if you're in a shorter-term relationship and you don't have a connection, then maybe you shouldn't be in that relationship.
Red flag.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Red flag.
Yeah.
So anyway, but people that are, have been together a long time or whatever. So emotional closeness is really important. And what are some ways that we can suggest to kind of improve that emotional connection?
I think being a good listener.
Okay.
You can tell when somebody is trying to reach out and say something.
Right.
So if it's the women that tend to lose that emotional connection, or interest, I should say, they're losing their interest because of that loss of that emotional connection,
which leads to a lot of other things too.
Things. So
we're just hitting the high level here.
Yeah, trying to listen more, be kind.
Yeah,
be kind and
showing interest too. Just showing interest in things, just your basic stuff that has to do with a connected relationship. Praising that individual for doing things that are good, or acknowledging when they're doing things that are right. They know you appreciate them. They're more inclined to open up, more inclined to be vulnerable, which leads to the emotional connection.
And if you're not feeling that way, I was just in my mind, I'm like, and if in my mind, I was just thinking, if you're not feeling that way, fake it till you make it. But then I immediately thought, no, if you're not feeling that way, that's something
you got to
that
deal
needs
with.
to be put on the table to talk about.
Well, I think that's the biggest problem,
The
Michelle.
communication.
Yeah, because people don't like talking about this kind of stuff, or especially when it comes to their own inadequacies, or where they feel like, they are missing something.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk about it. They're uncomfortable.
I know in conversations, nothing specific, but that I've had in my relationship that I'm in currently, there are times where, and I know I'll use the term, this is how I'm feeling, whatever it is, this is how I'm feeling. I'm not saying that's the case,
right?
Or that's your intention, but this is how I feel.
Or how that makes me feel.
Yeah, this is how it's making me feel. So that opens the door for some dialogue there, and it wouldn't be good to keep that in. And
hopefully they reciprocate, or, are inquisitive about.
I share that to just using it as just to give you all an idea of something to say in those situations. So,
there's also, therapy, honestly, there's sex therapists even out there if it's a big issue, but just therapy, learning how to talk.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, all of these things are directly related to whether you're able to let your guard down.
Yeah.
And have that level of closeness. And it comes to trust, if you trust that individual and you don't harbor resentment towards that individual for any reason, or you can get past that, because this type of connection is probably, it's not the most important thing, but it is pretty damn important, especially for long-term relationships. So we had one episode, a couple weeks ago. I don't remember which episode number it was, but where we were talking about menopause, and oh my God, we got so much feedback about that episode from women in particular, but some men even that had talked about the whole vaginal dryness thing, and it being kind of, this was a conversation I had with someone that was like, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, lube is your friend.
It's one of the top impediments in regard to sex for women our age.
Yeah, because it would hurt, I would think. Yeah, it would definitely hurt.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of medicines and things that women can take that all relate to hormones. And I think I had mentioned about that pellet thing that I get that has all of, it's a cocktail of hormones that are completely designed for your body. All of those things help you with kind of feeling normal.
There is nothing weird or wrong with using things to help with the comfort of your sexual experience. Did I say that nicely or
what? I thought you were going to say the comfort of your vajayjay. I know that's what you wanted to say. But truthfully, truth be told, it's like, seriously, it's fun. The slipperier, the better. It makes it kind of fun.
And oil-based lubricants, and they have ones that are based with olive oil, coconut, and baby oils, over-the-counter moisturizers, all of those things. And then they have them specifically for, the KYs and jelly and ones that are specifically created for that. But there are other things, just like I just
some that get
mentioned.
Warm and some that get cold.
And you know what I was reading about this is to use those things even when you're not having sex.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The creams and stuff.
You say that you said that with such confidence.
Oh yeah.
That was new for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
I was like, wait, okay, I've been missing out.
That shit is expensive.
Oh, I know.
That's the only thing. I just cannot, we'll even get into the whole doctor thing, but it's ridiculously expensive. And so the creams and all that kind of stuff. So I think I've been able to avoid all that just by getting that pellet. Yeah. And I just haven't really experienced that problem since.
Yeah.
So, but I still like the lube. So,
yeah.
There you go. So,
don't knock it till you try it, people.
Yeah. I know people, and I don't think that people think that lube and stuff like that is just for older people. because
Yeah.
I think everybody, I mean, at least I shouldn't say everybody, but I know it's a very common thing to use. So it's not just because of your age, it's because you like it.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I'm sure there are those of you that are like Niagara Falls out there. And if you are, I guess you don't need the lube, but
Bitch.
Anyway,
good for you. Hey, one way to kind of combat that too is, and let's just get into it. You know, the woman orgasms before anything else, it's like she's automatically going to be in a better place.
Yeah.
Guys,
for everything,
get hers first.
Yeah,
before anything else, she gets hers. Yeah, and then you don't have as much of that issue.
Or ladies, help yourselves.
Yeah,
help yourselves get it first. There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yep, you can do that too.
Yeah.
So that is one suggestion that we have. Well, that's actually a couple suggestions that we have. And we talked about the different types of lubricants, but really it's like you could even use coconut oil, like regular coconut oil.
Yeah.
I know people that have used that coconut oil. I've never personally, but it seems like it would be kind of messy.
I mean, I don't know.
I just, whatever. I just was kind of throwing it out there.
Probably because it's more liquidy.
Yeah.
I mean, like the baby oils and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Michelle, do you put your plastic sheets on when you use those? I'm joking, you guys. I don't know. Do you have plastic sheets?
I do not have plastic sheets.
I don't either.
Nope.
But there are people that have them, and that is the reason why, more than likely. So, anyway, we talked before a tiny bit about the foreplay. Yeah. And I don't know about you ladies out there, but you heard that little moaning in the background? That was my little puppy Cash, by the way. He's chewing on his bone. He's making love to his bone right now. Anyway, what was I saying?
Foreplay.
Oh, foreplay. Yeah, foreplay. It takes us longer to get going, and I mean, it's kind of always been that way, you know, for me anyway. But as you get older, I think it's just it's not just about like, oh, let's have like intercourse. You know, there's all kinds of stuff that leads up to it, and it's like, if that's all that they're wanting to do anyway, it's like they need to learn how to have sex properly.
And it can be fun things too. You can play games and leave little notes throughout the week, or
kind of building that momentum.
Yeah, like, or scavenger hunt, or just like doing a phone call during the day while they're at work and, you know, saying something sexy, or
a text.
Or Marco Polo. We're old. We use that app. Marco Polo.
I don't care if we're old or not. I love that app. Okay, just say that.
Well, I know.
I know. It's just like younger, like Zoe's age. It's like, oh, that's for old people. Well, you're an infant, so there you go. you don't want to use it, but I do. So,
foreplay isn't just physical stuff. No. It's not physical. You know, the 10 minutes before you bang it out. It's it's a lot of different things leading up to. It can be listening to music, even the conversation, you know, about different topics that maybe you don't typically talk about. A lot of different things. Foreplay can be
ice cubes.
Okay. Whipped cream and chocolate sauce.
Hi, Michelle. You're telling us all your secrets. Anyway, so foreplay is good. There's actually in some of the toy stores, they have these books that are kind of like, well, I had one book one time that was, the pages were sealed. And so you had to unseal the pages, and it was like a kind of a sexual experience that you had with your person.
Oh.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Together? So like you unseal the page together?
Yeah.
And then,
or if you wanted to surprise your person, you could unseal the page and then, you know, surprise them or whatever.
I like that.
Yeah, but it was kind of fun. So they have games like you were mentioning that kind of get things going.
You could make your own.
Yeah.
Look at me. I'm the one that, you know, wrapped the box myself. You could make your own book.
You
make
could.
it a little more personal.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
That would be kind of a fun gift to give somebody, just for the fun. I mean, not like a birthday gift or whatever.
Just for
have it sitting on their steering wheel.
Literally for fun.
See you at home.
Oh yeah. See, foreplay.
Yeah, exactly.
On the steering wheel. Oh.
Gets them thinking about it. And I know men, a lot of the time, that's what they think about all the time. So it gives them something to kind of visualize in their head. So when we were talking about the different medications and things before, they were medications not only for women, but there's a lot of different medications out there for men as well. And so there are different conditions like ED that are related to like the blood flow, in the penis.
Yeah.
And there are different types of medications. There's implants. There's all kinds of things that people can do to gain that erection so they can actually have sex. And I know it's different for everybody.
It is different for everybody. And the stuff I was reading said half of men in their 50s experience ED.
Wow.
Doesn't mean they continually struggle with it, or I mean, that's how I'm going to take it, because it just said experience ED.
Yeah.
But yeah, the standard treatment for that is prescription meds.
I think
for
too,
the
the whole not being able to get erection thing sometimes might have to do with that person's conscience.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm speaking because of something that had happened where it's like, this person that I was with had trouble with that, which definitely wasn't his problem normally, but he had trouble with that. And so I was kind of like, okay, is it me? Is it whatever? No, I think he just felt guilty because he was a dirty dog.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I really
There you
do. So that was just my thought on that one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I never really thought about that before, that aspect of it.
Yeah. But there's other things too that obviously impact people's ability to get an erection, or I should say men's ability to get an erection. So medications are out there. I guess the whole thing that's really important to note is that I think people are kind of ashamed by this stuff.
Right.
And I think men can be kind of ashamed by this stuff too. And really there's nothing to be ashamed of. And it depends on, your feelings obviously depend upon who the people that you're around and how your partner handles things and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a partner, maybe you're, looking for a partner and how they might feel about it. But, this is such a big part of you as a person. Just go out and get the damn medicine. Who cares?
Yeah, right.
Get whatever you need to be able to function and make yourself happy.
Right.
So that's at least my feeling on it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I agree.
Yeah. So there's also, conditions and things that can impact.
Because like we said before, those things are covered by insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well,
some of those options for men are covered by insurance, whereas the hormones that you take are not.
Like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean for the tube, like the cream
I'm not
or whatever.
slamming it. I'm just saying, guys. So if you have insurance, it is possible that
take advantage of the fact that you have the insurance.
Yeah,
yeah, the pellet thing. That's maybe what you're talking about. Yeah, no, that's like $450 every 3 months or something. But it keeps me sane,
right?
And I don't have
worth it.
Oh, it's so worth it. It's worth every penny. And honest to God, I really wish I would have discovered this way earlier on because it's been a complete game changer for me. If you ignore different conditions and things that could impact your ability to have sex or just your desire to have sex, you could actually be hurting your body even more because things like high blood pressure will affect your ability to have sex or sexual pleasure, any kind of cardiovascular issues, diabetes, all of those things impact negative blood flow, which all in turn impact sexual arousal. So that is something to really be mindful of as you're really watching your health, because you want to obviously be healthy and make sure that you're staying healthy, but you have to really identify the issues that might be putting roadblocks up for you to be able to have a sexual relationship. And
there's a bit of a cycle there because a lot of the drugs that treat some of those that you mentioned, like diabetes and such, high blood pressure, and especially depression and anxiety meds, the side effect of some of those that treat those are the inability or
just the lack of desire
to have sex.
So you have to kind of determine
to have that desire for the sexual response or whatever.
Yeah. So what I was going to say is you have to kind of determine what's really important to you and know what the side effects are of the medications that you're taking. Because if you're taking, say, an antidepressant, and the antidepressant has one of their predominant side effects is that you will lose sexual interest, and that's really important to you, then maybe that's not the right medication for you.
Yeah.
So just something to think about there.
And more things, again, to communicate if you are in a relationship with a partner to, when you're aware of some of those side effects and things, and you're both in on it, other things can help to satisfy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's not all about intercourse. There's so much more to it, really, that leads up to that.
And when there's two people in situations like that, it's going to take the two of you to come together and figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
So
as you're listening to this podcast, going, okay, I'm 50 something years old, and giving yourself an evaluation on where your sex life is and where you want it to be, you have to kind of ask yourself the personal question, are you good with what I got, or do you want it to get better? And if you're good with what you got, more power to you. And if you want it to get better, here are some ideas and things about how you can do that.
Can we just recap some of those ideas?
Please feel free.
Yeah. Connection.
Yep.
Emotionally.
Yep.
Having that emotional connection. And actually one of the topics, it was a topic in its own, was the VJ dryness.
Mm-hmm.
So, you need to address that. Emphasize on foreplay. Don't let ED keep you down. Little play on words there.
Little pun.
And then not ignoring those conditions Jules was just talking about, you know, the other health things that can impact the sexuality you have in a relationship.
Yeah. It can be such a wonderful, big part of your life that really just makes everything look so much brighter. And
it's so true. Our bodies are changing. Our skin feels different. Our hair is changing. So many things change.
I know.
At this age. So it can be hard to have that pep in your step and that, confidence in your sexuality. But honestly, because you're at that age where you are more mature, you can come together and really appreciate each other and where you're at, together, in that relationship and by yourself.
Yeah.
Like you as a person, just, own it.
Just do you.
Own it. There's a reason there's that term cougar out there, ladies. Those women our age owning their shit.
No one's called me that before.
A cougar?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
I was going to say.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Had to clarify that one.
Yeah, that was a joke. That was just a joke.
She is a cougar.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Anyway, as we get to our closing here, did you have anything else you wanted to share, Michelle?
Just remember to stay sexy in your 50s. And along with that, check us out on all our social platforms. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We also have an email, a blonde, a brunette, and a mic @gmail.com. We welcome any feedback or episode ideas that you have, and we would love to share.
Yeah, and we love hearing from everybody, and we're really thrilled that people are enjoying, what we're sharing with them. So,
and if you like us, tell people about us.
Yeah.
Share, like if you see something on Instagram or Facebook, share it on your own page and or on your own story, and word of mouth is the way to get it out there.
It's a good thing. Yeah,
we would appreciate it.
All right, everybody. Well, until next time, we will catch you later.
Stay sexy, y'all.
Stay sexy, y'all.
All right.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.